Bryan Colter here, Evolutionary Astrologer, for another horoscope report for the upcoming Gemini new moon. This is a fun, energetic, playful, flirty, curious, sometimes frenetic energy that we can figure out how to work with. Overall, this month, the energy astrologically is pretty quiet, except for the headliner. Pluto has now officially re-entered Capricorn. We're going to have to talk a lot about that. That's the biggie. Before we get to that, though, I just want to extend an invitation to all of you out there. I do a free guided group meditation every Sunday on Zoom, totally free. It's the same time every week, which is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you're into meditating, or maybe you're curious about meditation, we have a great time together. We practice meditation on twin hearts for peace and illumination. And if you're interested, please come by. I'd love to see you. Just bring your smile and a butt pillow, and we'll have a good time. With that being said, let's go ahead and transition to the chart here. Here it is. Now, first thing that jumps out to me right away, of course, is this Gemini new moon. We have one other planet in the sign of Gemini, which is Mercury. And what's so significant about this is the planet Mercury is said to rule the sign of Gemini. And whenever a planet is traveling through its own sign, it's at maximum power. So we got 3 strong votes of, okay, we need to work with Gemini now. What are the implications of that? What does it feel like? And how can we work with it towards our betterment and evolution? Another interesting event going on is that Venus, which is classically known as the divine feminine, the goddess of love, is currently holding hands with Mars, which is seen as the divine masculine, the war god. So divine feminine, divine masculine, this is a very sexy, passionate, romantic energy, also very creative energy. They're going to be next to each other in the sky for the next 3 or 4 weeks, and then Venus will go retrograde and they'll part ways for a while, and then they'll come back a little later in the year. But this is a very fun energy, this Gemini plus this Venus Mars. But first, let's look at the big picture stuff. I always like to start there before we dig more into the minutia of this new moon event. And as I said back in March, when Pluto entered Aquarius for the first time, that over the next 3 months, we're getting a sneak preview of what's to come over the next 20 years. Because Pluto spends a long time in each sign. It's been in Capricorn since 2008, and for the first time in March, it dipped its toes in the sign of Aquarius, giving us this preview of what's to come over the next couple decades. So it's been interesting to observe reality over the last few months, most especially things that have occurred that fit with the Aquarian archetypal field, which basically boils down to freedom. It's the revolutionary and the rebel archetype, but it's also the sign of technology. And with Pluto entering into Aquarius, a technological revolution is at our doorstep, because whenever Pluto, whatever sign it's in or house, it accentuates the extremes of that polarity of whatever symbol we're talking about. So it's been in Aquarius, highlighting the extremes. And we'll just focus primarily on technology here. In terms of freedom, there's been a lot of riots and protests in various countries across the globe. The one happening in France, although I haven't received an update on what's going on there recently, that's been significant during Pluto and Aquarius. But on the technological side, we've had a bunch of interesting things happen around banking and currency. Elon Musk's Starship making it off the platform, which was very interesting. And just before Aquarius re-entered Capricorn, at the beginning of this month, it was still in Aquarius, we had 2 significant events. One was involving Apple announcing their new, Apple Vision goggles or whatever they are, with a pretty hefty, $3,500 price tag. But this is going to be a major game changer. I can feel it. Of course, when they came out with the smartphone, a long time, when was that? 2007 or something like that. That was a major game changer. I see the Apple Vision even more so of a game changer. It might take some time to build up momentum to where it totally takes everything over, which is more likely to happen when Pluto re-enters Aquarius for the long term, early 2025 and beyond. But this is augmented reality. I think it's going to take over the smartphone eventually. There's a lot of things to be worried about with this because Pluto is, yes, it's in Aquarius. Aquarius is about technology, but Pluto ultimately is about rising a wound to the surface, in this case involving the collective. So we also look at the dark side of Aquarius, which is an air sign. And air signs are on the intellectual plane. It's the classic genius archetype, Aquarius is. So that's why it's connected to things like technology and innovations and inventions. But we think about the dark side of that. Air is in the head, not so much in the heart when taken to extremes. So the level of disconnect between, people and other people. I mean, gosh, how many times have you gone to a restaurant and you see a couple sitting there eating dinner and they're both just looking at their phones, or a whole family, or whatever, or you go on the train and everybody's just lost in their phones. It's already created a disconnect between people. You ain't seen nothing yet, and I really think, VR, virtual reality headsets haven't really taken off yet because the timing was premature. Facebook and Meta didn't wait for Pluto to enter Aquarius. But once it does officially, that's really going to take off. Yes, virtual reality, but even more impactfully, like this Apple device, augmented reality. Yeah, so for better or for worse, it's coming. And that they announced that just as Pluto was about to leave Aquarius. The other big event that happened, at least in my opinion, involves a whistleblower named David Grush, who has had a long career in intelligence agencies of the government, highly decorated, well-respected individual, has come out and disclosed that we have, as hard as this is to believe, that we have a dozen or more different alien spacecraft that have either landed or crashed, that we've been doing reverse engineering in these special access black budget programs that not even the governments are really aware of. Kind of sounds like a science fiction novel. Truth is stranger than fiction. It's been an area of interest of mine for quite some time, being involved in the disclosure movement. I believe something like this has been going on for a while. So, my opinion is a little biased, hence why I'm interested in this. And it totally might turn out to be a nothing burger. However, as an astrologer, recognizing that this disclosure happened right at the tail end of Pluto and Aquarius, I think it's going to prove significant in the coming years. And as I started to say on this channel, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, that the world as we perceive it is going to be a whole new world around 2026, 2027. And the reason for that is the 3 outermost planets, Pluto, which we're talking about here, but also Neptune and Uranus, are all changing signs, one after another, boom, boom, boom. And since these are such slow-moving planets, them all changing signs within a few years of each other is very, very rare, and suggests, each one of these planets is, when they change signs, it represents a generational shift, And with all of them changing signs, it's like, boom, a triple whammy or wave of change to where the world will be unrecognizable. And I thought, okay, well, maybe this Aquarian age stuff's going on. Maybe they'll have a breakthrough in physics beyond string theory to where it will change the world as we know it. And who knows, maybe this UFO disclosure stuff will be a part of it. Maybe not. But it is sure fun for me to think about. And it's just interesting, the timing of it. So now it's re-entered Capricorn. Okay, so the sneak preview is over. And now we're returning Pluto, highlighting the extremes of this symbol of Capricorn. Entered this sign 2008, boom, we had the economic crash. Pluto bringing out the woundedness of Capricorn, the dark side of Capricorn. The shadow side of this sign is control, ambition, that turns towards being power hungry. So it's been a big power grab since 2008, especially over the last 3 years as we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Many of you know about that. And even if you don't know about that, just observe reality over the last 3 years. It's been very difficult. And those who are rich and powerful have taken full advantage and really tightened their grips of control upon the collective. And Pluto really highlighting this. But also, it's also highlighted the extreme high end of Capricorn. The extreme high end of Capricorn is words like integrity, commitment, responsibility, doing what's right, being accountable, okay, being wise and ethical. So it's also the period of time of the whistleblower. This is when Edward Snowden and Julian Assange and people that were aware of these things, of the power grab going on, the dark side of the patriarchy and all this, and they didn't see it as right, and they did the scary thing. They did the thing that was full of integrity. It's like, this is not right. People need to know this, and I'm going to release this information to the public, And through this revelatory process, what has the collective become? A little more wiser. Capricorn, known as the sign of the elder, the symbol of wisdom. So Pluto will continue to be in Capricorn until January of next year, 2024. And then it'll go back into Aquarius. And then it'll go retrograde out of Aquarius and back to Capricorn September of 2024 until about December of 2024. So it's kind of going back and forth across these signs. But we're in for, another 7 or 8 month transition through Capricorn again. So this is those who have grown powerful will not go quietly into the night. I feel like we're entering a period of darkness. I don't want to be overly dramatic and doom and gloom about it. It's interesting that this is going to be both actually election days in the U.S. is in November. So you have election day this year in November and next year in November, both of which Pluto will be in Capricorn, which makes me feel a little bit uneasy about, that political process, since it's going to highlight the dark side of power. But maybe the integrity side of things will prevail. Who knows? It's I would say just be aware of this going on. And if you recognize the dark side of the force with the rich and powerful, don't be surprised. And just keep your head above water and focus on your own evolutionary journey, because the more you raise your own consciousness, the more positive effect you'll have in the people around you. And you will in turn have a positive effect on their level of consciousness. And even if it's a little pebble you throw into the lake, it still has those ripples. And this is how us as a collective raise the collective consciousness above this more traumatic, signature of Capricorn in this case. And it doesn't become as intense for us. Now, if you have your sun, moon, or ascendant in your own personal chart in the early degrees of Aquarius or any of the fixed signs, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, but especially Aquarius, know that Pluto is sitting on or in a hard aspect with your sun, moon, or ascendant, and know you're going through arguably the most Plutonian period in your life. And if we narrow this down to a more personal level, Pluto, the god of hell, is dredging up old traumas, old wounds that you haven't quite yet fully released or transformed. And it's a period of purging, taking out the venom, getting rid of these traumatic artifacts of the past that no longer serve you. And if you're going through a major Pluto event on a personal level, you're wise enough, strong enough, and supported enough to look at these more hurt places. And I'll add a little bit more a corrective there. You're barely ready to look at these more hurt places, because that's just the nature of Pluto, the god of hell. It's the transmutation of our inner hells into paradises, dark into light. It's a deeply shamanic, transformative experience, not only on a personal level, but then on that collective level as well. So again, that was more big picture stuff. It's a bit heavy, Pluto always is. But now we can transition to, okay, what's going on for these few weeks? Which, in contrast to Pluto, is much lighter and fluffier. So we're going to be feeling a lot more of the lighter, fluffier stuff, whereas Pluto draws out over the course of the year, just very much the background or the backdrop. Okay, so going to all this Gemini energy. Archetypes for Gemini is the communicator, the storyteller, the journalist, the investigator, the youthful one. It's a very young energy, energetic. It's an air sign. Again, also on the mental plane, Mercury in its own sign. Yes, it's the messenger of the gods, the planet of communication, so strong in its own sign. But underlying communication is thought. Underlying thought is perception. In light of that, the core evolutionary intention of this event is to perceive reality more clearly, to embrace life with more wonder, awe, and amazement. And the Geminian mantra is, whatever I believe reality to be, it's not quite that. I'm open to being stretched. I'm open to having the rug pulled out from underneath me from time to time as far as my understanding goes. It is a symbol of learning. So in what way may I not be perceiving reality clearly here? And how might I go about wearing clearer glasses? Well, experientially, and a good strategy for this is to figure out what you're most curious about and go that way with an open mind. And then also maybe look into something new you might not have looked at before. It's like the metaphor would be the Christian who becomes open to having a open-minded conversation with a Muslim or something like that. Not to adopt that belief system, but it's like, where do we get along? What do we agree with? We're both human here. We might not have the same beliefs, but we have some common threads. Let's figure out what they are. It's a very exploratory, chatty energy. So communication is quite central here. It's a very chatty time, an energetic time. But if you can keep that goal in mind, hey, there's maybe something I can learn here that I might not have realized before. And maybe through conversation or just through study, I can learn something new and get a little bit of a light bulb moment, and then my perception clears. Everybody has a perception of reality that's distorted, some more so than others, So the goal is the same. How can I cleanse that a little bit more? So you find those threads of curiosity and just pull on them, and wherever they lead you, go that way. It's pretty simple. Now, adding to this fun energy, as I said at the beginning of this video, Venus, the goddess of love, the divine feminine, right next to the divine masculine. We'll talk about Leo in a second. But just looking at these planetary archetypes, there is a passion, a heat, a friction with these two planets. Imagine you take hot Aphrodite, hot Dionysus, and you put them face to face, and they're gazing into each other's eyes. Their noses are almost touching. And you tell them, don't touch. Ooh, it's like you can feel the friction and the magnetism there. Or it's like you hold two magnets close together. They're trying to touch, but you don't let them. They want to touch each other. There's a passionate energy there. So this is also a very romantic energy. So depending on where these planets are transiting through in your birth chart, says a lot where this passionate energy wants to be expressed in your life. Now, if you have Venus and Mars going through the 5th house of romance and courtship and sex and love affairs, it's a very sexy time, really lean into romance. If you have a deficit of romance in your life, seek it out is a good strategy, or if it's really in any of the relationship houses, like the 4th or the 5th or the 7th or the 8th, can be a very romantic time for you. If you have plenty of romance in your life already, really lean into it, make a good thing a better thing. And there's another aspect of this where, Venus is not only a relationship planet, it's also the goddess of the arts. And here, both these planets are in the sign of creativity, the sign of Leo, the archetype of the performer. So there's a performative, very creative energy here as well. So if you have any creative hobby, it's a good time to do that, especially if you can present that creativity to others in the spirit of vulnerability, because Leo is the sign of practicing vulnerability through self-expression. Of course, that can happen in our intimate relationships as we learn to be more vulnerable in those relationships, but also through creative self-expression. And this could also lead to passionate projects of creativity, but passion is really the core of it. Now we take these two ideas and we smush them together, creativity and love. We could make an argument, especially during this new moon, because the new moon is about new beginnings. The moon itself is the great mother, the planet of nurturing and fertility. And then we have this sexy energy here. So it's a very fertile time. So if you want to have a baby, for example, if you're at a good time for that in your life, now would be a good time to give it a whirl, where the creative energy applied to sexuality, they come together, making that more of a powerful, auspicious moment for that outcome if it's desired. If the outcome is not desired and you're seeking out the romance, just bring your protection. So just be aware of this. This is a fun energy. It's like, how can I have a good time? How can I play? How can I practice vulnerability through self-expression? What am I curious about? What lights me up? How can I flirt with my life or flirt with other people over these next couple weeks? What new beginnings can I create as I cleanse those lenses of perception? And, meanwhile, you're aware of this Pluto going on in the backdrop amongst the collective. But now it's about having fun and learning. And that's the core evolutionary intention, with the goal being to expand our consciousness. Now we're going to transition over to the meditation. It's an oldie, but a goodie. And please use headphones for best results. Enjoy. Sit in a nice, comfortable position with a straight spine. And simply just breathe into your belly. Nice and slow. Deep belly breaths. And feel your belly expand as you inhale, and then your chest expand. And feel your belly contract as you exhale, and then your chest. Always belly first. Comfortable, rhythmic breathing. And no pause between the inhale and exhale. Just keep it flowing. And try to feel the beat of your heart if you can. It's very subtle, but it's there. It's the pulse of life. And try to coordinate the breath with the heartbeat. And do 4 beats of the heart per inhale, belly first. And 4 beats of the heart per exhale, belly first. In, out. Very comfortable breathing. And feel the air go through your nose as you inhale and exhale. And now bring your awareness down to your left foot. And I want you to visualize a beautiful white ball or globe in your left foot. And each time you inhale, see this white ball grow a little bit brighter. And you might feel a little sensation in your left foot, like some warmth or some tingling. That's perfectly okay. And now as you inhale again, visualize that white globe going up into your left ankle, growing brighter, and now up into your left calf, and your left knee. If you get distracted from the visualization, that's okay. Just bring your mind back to the task at hand. And see this white ball in your knee grow brighter and brighter. And now allow it to move up into your left thigh. Feel its presence in your left thigh. And inhale again and bring it up to your left hip. And now move your awareness down to your right foot and see the white ball move there. See this white ball almost like flickering with the glow. Beautiful white glow. And breathe in again and bring it up to your right ankle. Now into your right calf. And into the right knee. Up into the right thigh now. Breathing deeply and evenly. See that white ball go up into the right hip now. Now extend this white color throughout all of both of your legs. See both of your legs in a brilliant snow white color. Now see all this white color condense back into the ball, right into your lower abdomen. Filling up the entire trunk of your lower body. And now into the belly. Feel it fully in the belly. And as you inhale, see it grow brighter as it expands a little bit. And as you exhale, see it condense but maintain the brightness. And focus on this visualization in the belly for a little bit. Now see the white ball move up into your chest area and around your chest, the entire chest cavity. And while it's in your chest, you can even give it a little bit of a rosy white color. That's really good for the heart center. And as you inhale, you see it grow brighter. Now move this white ball into the right shoulder. And now the right upper arm. And it continues to move slowly down into the right elbow. And into the right forearm. and wrist, and into the right hand. And the hands are very sensitive. You can probably feel it strong in your right hand as a tingling sensation or warmth. And in your mind, you can actually visualize your right hand coming up to your face. And just look at your etheric right hand with your mind's eye and just see it glowing in a white color. It's beautiful. Okay, now the white ball is moving up your right arm. A little faster now, up the arm, back up to the shoulder, across the collarbone, and into the left shoulder. And it slowly falls into the right upper, or the left upper arm. And now into the left elbow. The left forearm. The left wrist. And now in your left hand. And again in your mind's eye, bring your etheric left hand up to your face. And see your etheric left hand glow in a white color. You can just turn it and look at it in amazement, with a curiosity. And then lower your etheric hand and visualize the white color moving quicker up the left arm and now back into the left shoulder and going across the upper back of the shoulder blades and now up into the neck. See this white ball in and around your neck, softening all the tissues and the tension in your neck. And now see the white ball move up into your headspace and see it glowing so brightly in and around your head, almost like a halo. Bright golden white sun in and around your head. And hold this visualization for a little bit. See the white ball lower back into your chest area. Breathe into it. And then see the white color extend out through your entire body. Fill up every single cell of your entire physical body and your astral body. and see yourself shining in all directions as a luminous being. This is soul energy. It's who you really are as an extension of God. The ancient, ineffable, immortal, divine essence. The real you. The I am that I am. The part of you that's been evolving over hundreds of lifetimes. Unconcerned with the passing dramas of the current incarnation. The part of you that is love, that is light, that is God. And each time you breathe, tap into your immortal essence. See that part of you shining brightly in every direction with its high frequency having a positive effect on everything around you. And now, focus again on the rhythm of your breath. In, out. And you can start to bring your awareness back to your environment around you. And start to wiggle your fingers and toes. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.